As I live and breathe, welcome one and all to Superman. Every Superman movie reviewed on ChimiComics Reviews. I'm
Superman
here.
Returns.
Yes, this episode we're doing Superman Returns.
Oddly appropriate with us returning to the series.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. A series that we're just trying to get some content out there, put it on the back burner. Just want to let y'all know that. So that we have something to give
That
you.
really brings the importance into the forefront.
Well, I mean, it's a quarantine right now. We need Superman right now.
Is this green stuff going to mess up the...
No.
Nah, it
I've seen
be.
it's shifting.
If it does,
It's shifting
that's
a bit.
amazing. It's not as bad as that one time you wore that flannel, the green flannel.
The
was
white,
bad.
the light blue, yeah.
Didn't you have to, undo the thing?
Yeah, had to completely undo it.
I had no idea.
It was like every time he moved forward, it would do it.
And every time I wanted to talk, I would be like...
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. So, Superman Returns. Let's start off with how we start each of these reviews off. What did y'all think of this movie overall? Overall impressions. Don't tell me how you would rank it or necessarily. Just tell me how you enjoyed the movie as a whole.
Okay.
Let's start with one.
Starting off, we finally got to a point where special effects can accurately depict Superman
You're right,
compared
though.
to the other movies we watched.
It is much better.
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
From a visual standpoint, yes.
There's also the fact that it's not as campy and cheesy.
I disagree with
as
that.
is. You really do?
Yes, I do.
I kind of do, too.
I'm saying it's not as. It still has
You're definitely
that.
right. But,
Yeah.
but it doesn't lose that.
It doesn't lose it. It's still there, but I mean, you still have the more serious moments when Luthor is talking about Prometheus and fire, and Kevin Spacey
No one
adds that
understands
to it.
Prometheus.
Just parts like that.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I love the new plot, like with Superman being gone, and the repercussions of that. I think that's interesting.
Okay.
It was a bit like, wow, that happened when... well, we'll get into it. I won't spoil anything.
Okay.
But what would you say, what would you rate it on a 10 scale?
10 scale. That's what I rated.
I wonder if that picked up.
I hope it did. Lord.
I hope so.
Kryptonite Howl. Marlon Brando from Beyond the Grave trying to chime in.
Hello. About a 7.5 and 8.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe a 7.
Riley, go
7,
ahead.
8.
I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
Okay.
When I first saw it, I had never seen the other 4 movies, so I didn't realize how much this is
A homage.
It really does pay a huge tribute to this. Really.
I was very worried.
Wait a minute. Homage. I'm sorry. I
Homage.
just called it a homage.
I was a bit worried when
Oh!
I was a bit worried when the intro was like the exact same style.
Right?
I was
I
like,
love that.
I was like, are we gonna get another one of these?
I like that. I
like
like
It
it.
turned into being a lot better, like especially with when Krypton blew up.
What gets me though is y'all are like, yeah, this is a great intro, and then y'all said your favorite intro was Superman 3, when a bunch of just wacky hijinks are happening.
That wasn't my favorite. I thought that was too much.
You mean like the first scene?
Yeah, the first scene, it's
Oh,
the
but I
credits.
was just talking about the credits. That was like a whole scene.
Oof, cool.
But yeah, the opening credits are just like you get the blue whooshing letters coming at you.
You get to see destroyed Krypton.
Which is
Yeah.
cool.
I also didn't know how much the plot of this is pretty much the same as the first movie.
It's Superman, yeah.
So, that considering that, I really do like that a lot. Brandon Routh is a good Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, people criticized him for being too much like Christopher Reeve. They said, "Oh, we want something different," you know. And
I like him. It wasn't.
then Henry Cavill came along, and they're like, "Oh, that's too different," you know. So you can't win.
No, you can't.
I'm glad that when he was Clark Kent, he wasn't too slapsticky. Like it wasn't too over the top. That I'm just a weak little nerd.
I'm not sure that we can get a better Lex Luthor than we got in Kevin Spacey.
I don't think so either.
That was good.
He was very good.
It
was
was
great.
like Gene Hackman, but it also was
There was
Lex
some Gene
Luthor.
Hackman in there.
It reminded
He
me
looks
a
exactly
lot.
like Gene Hackman, which is the
It was
funny
like
part.
it was
Especially
like
when he first intros. You
Yeah.
can take that. The rest is mine.
It's a good scene.
It reminded me of like Doctor Who when they like recast the Doctor and you've got the
Yeah.
similar things but kind of different a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what he reminded me of.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. But yeah, the action was good. Like the action scenes were a lot better done, obviously, than the old movies. And
Especially the bank robbers.
I didn't think Lois was overly terrible like she has been in the other movies. I like the whole concept of Superman having a kid.
That was way out of
really
left
does
field.
tie it all together for me.
That was out of left field for me.
I like his name is not John, but it's John Kent. You know.
Yeah.
So, like that. I would give this
What was
movie
his name?
His name is Jason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember.
I give this movie a
That was
9.
like you in my head. I still called him John. Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan. I give this movie a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
My opinions are that the movie would probably be in the 7.5-ish area for me.
Okay.
It was okay. It was a chore to get through. It was a very slow movie in my opinion. I don't know why it was for me, but it was.
I mean, you are right. Like
It was just
it's a 3-hour movie almost.
Yeah, it was
It
very
is?
long. Superman never threw a punch at any point in the movie.
Well, he kind of didn't have to.
I didn't like Kate Bosworth at all. Lois. I didn't like her at all.
You didn't?
No.
I thought she was fine.
No, I didn't like her. I don't know why. It was wooden. I didn't like that
Eh.
Superman was cucking her boyfriend too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was such a nice guy.
He was.
He was so
He was
nice.
a hell of a pilot.
He was a great guy.
I felt really sorry for that guy.
Dude, he was still nice.
You can't compete with Superman.
And then he lost Cyclops for this movie to take this role. It's insane. Yeah, 7.5 for me. I loved Lex Luthor. He was probably the standout for the entire movie, and I loved Brandon Routh. I think they're great.
Okay.
I think they're both great. And a lot of different issues I have with the movie, mainly with the runtime. Not much
How
happening.
long is the runtime?
2 hours 49 minutes.
154 minutes.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
No, that's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2:30. That's not bad though. There's been longer.
Long.
It didn't seem that long to me when I was watching it.
Anyway, so Superman Returns, as you know, is directed by Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer coming after his X-Men franchise. Let's see. He pulled James Marsden, who plays her boyfriend, Lois's boyfriend in this. The movie came out in 2006, June 28th, 2006. Had a runtime of 154 minutes. A budget of $204 million and a box office of $391 million. So it does not mean that it was a success. That's why we didn't get sequels to it. As far as this movie being better than 4 and 3, yes. But let's get into the plot. I also like the fact that they brought him back.
Did he return?
He returned,
Yeah, I like
which
that
is
concept.
cool. I like the
One thing I will say that I didn't enjoy about the movie, and this is a huge plot hole. I don't know if it's huge. He said he was gone for 5 years.
yeah, that makes no
But
sense.
the kid is not 5. He's like 8.
The kid is not 5.
And he doesn't know about this kid,
Yeah.
you know. But he's only been gone 5 years.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Does not match up.
his last meeting with Lois was a hit it and quit it
Which
scenario.
I don't have a problem with him not knowing about the kid and the kid being that age. Just say he was gone for 8 years. You know, what's
Yeah.
the problem in that? You know? I didn't understand that.
The whole him being gone for that period makes no sense.
Also, why he
Exactly.
did.
It makes no sense.
He went to Krypton, but it took him 5 years.
Yeah, and the only reason he didn't say
Yeah.
goodbye to Lois was just to create genre. drama, just for the plot. Like,
Oh yeah.
The whole plot
maybe
point
it,
of him
maybe
leaving doesn't
maybe
make
it would have
sense.
been hard for him to say goodbye.
Which I don't have a problem
Well,
with
I
that,
mean,
really.
and honestly, they're saying that Superman 1 and 2 are canon in this. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, he also says Superman 3 is canon too, so there's that. But Superman 1 and 2 are supposedly canon. If you remember at the end of Superman 2, he wipes
Think about
Lois's
Richard
mind.
Pryor with that cowboy
Yeah.
hat.
He wipes Lois's mind in the
Superman
second movie.
3 was
So either he knocked her up,
just Richard Pryor.
he knocked her up in Superman 2, and then wiped her mind so she didn't even know, and then she's just pregnant.
No, you're
Or-
getting ridiculous.
Or
This is
Superman
just a theory.
2. No,
A game theory.
or Superman 2 ends, and then we're
But
supposed to
which
believe
cut
that
are we talking about, Tanner? That's
he
important.
wipes her mind in both.
Okay.
Anyways, so either he makes her fall in love with him again after Superman 2, and then they do it, or we just don't know.
I say we just don't know.
And he leaves for 5
In this
years.
movie, she says, "I spent the night with Superman," and that was when they had the baby, when they conceived the baby.
Yeah,
Was
that
that
was, one, that
Superman
was one of the
1?
articles.
That's the article she wrote
Yeah.
in this movie.
I thought the article that
No,
she
that was
wrote in
one
this
she
movie
wrote-
was the reference to when they met on the tower and he asked her about her panties and stuff.
I
like
like
the-
Pink Lois.
So you're saying that's referring to the first movie?
Yes,
Oh,
because
That
that's
was
what
the
that article
article,
was
yeah.
called.
was it?
Yes.
The,
Okay.
the one
I
she
didn't
got a
catch
Pulitzer
that.
Prize for was The World
The
Doesn't
World
Need
Without
Need
Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, she writes Why the World Needs Superman.
Yes.
So during filming, okay, so the movie is dedicated to Christopher Reeve and Dana Reeve, so that's great. I think he had just died recently when that came out. Superman, Brandon Routh, Kate Bosworth, and Kevin Spacey signed on, and they didn't even see a script. Kyle Penn,
Yes, the
Did
dude
they all
from
have
Harold.
any speaking lines?
Harold and Kumar,
Yeah,
yes,
he was
revealed
Kumar.
he had a much greater role, and it would have been revealed that his character was a disgraced Daily Planet science reporter who was bribed by Lex Luthor to plant false evidence of Krypton's possible survival, and that's why Superman left the Earth.
That sounds like a Sony movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see. Bryan Singer, when he became interested in possibly hiring Brandon Routh, he arranged for them to meet at a coffee shop. When they met at the table, Routh stumbled and spilled hot coffee all over the table, and he panicked, thinking he had just lost the part, and Singer laughed, and it actually helped him get the part, because it reminded him of
Clark,
Kent.
yeah. That's funny.
During filming, this is what I thought was really funny. I remember hearing about this. Kevin Spacey would drive around on a golf cart while dragging a stuffed Superman doll behind on a rope, yelling, "Superman must die."
Man,
Amy-
being on set with Kevin Spacey would be great if he wasn't a kitty diddler.
Yeah, that too.
Jeez.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of made it tougher to watch.
Yeah. I
Amy-
saw the name because I didn't know he was in the movie. I was like, oh, I bet he'll be fine in 20 years.
Yeah. Amy Adams auditioned for the role of Lois Lane. She later eventually performed as Lois in Man of Steel. I think she would have been a much better choice than Kate Bosworth.
Can't just mumble over that name.
I'll have
She
to
was
disagree with
just
you.
wooden.
Not because this one is so good, but because I really don't like her as Lois.
Because she has red hair.
Christopher
I mean, it's a small part of it, but yeah.
Christopher Reeve was going to have a cameo in the film, but he died before filming began, and that's why the film's dedicated to him.
Any more trivia, or are we gonna get into the plot?
We can get into the plot. Have y'all heard about J.J. Abrams' idea for the Superman movie?
Mm-mm.
So, before he was offered the director's chair, Bryan Singer directed J.J. Abrams' script as too far of a departure from the source material. Abrams' story reimagines Superman as a Kryptonian prince sent to Earth as a baby to avoid the impending civil war between King Jor-El and his brother Kadazor. Raised in Midwestern teen Clark Kent and in love with his high school sweetheart Lois, Superman becomes humanity's defender when Kadazor invades Earth. Aided by CIA agent Lex Luthor, who is actually a Kryptonian in disguise, the film ended with Superman returning to Krypton to rule over his people after the death of Jor-El. Singer disagreed with these changes to one of America's most well-known characters.
Thank God.
And decided to instead pursue a storyline to act as both a sequel, a remake, and would honor the character's history.
Can I say something?
Yes, go for it.
This is the side of J.J. Abrams that reminds me of this new Spider-Man comic we've been reviewing.
I think so too.
Not good. Not good.
Let's see here. Let me see if
Riley loves it when J.J. Abrams recreates Star Wars movies, but if he tries to change Superman...
Even you could admit that this sounds way worse than that.
You are right. I'm just talking shit.
So, Brandon Routh put on 20 pounds of muscle for the movie.
Nice.
Similar to how Christopher Reeve did when he was doing it.
I like hearing those kinds of stories.
Me too. It's
cool.
awesome. Bryan Singer is on record saying that Superman Returns is a loose follow-up to Superman and Superman 2.
Makes
and
sense.
does not follow those movies, continuity speaking, strictly.
Makes sense.
It ignores Superman 3 and 4, however, there is a reference to Supergirl, which was released between the other two.
Oh yeah, I heard Supergirl was not good at all. Have you not heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little spin-off movie they did. While considered a box office failure, not only did it outgross Batman Begins, but it was the second highest grossing DC film ever made at the time, after
Really?
Batman 1989.
That
Okay.
actually surprises me.
All right, plot time.
That's kind of cool. Oh, one thing is there was a sequel planned for this movie. I remember reading this. A sequel was planned with Bizarro and Brainiac as possible villains. However, due to frequent delays, as well as the first film's massive budget and underwhelming box office return, it was canceled. It was to be called Man of Steel, which eventually became the title of Zack
I would love to
Snyder's
see Bizarro on this.
Me and Bizarro.
Me and Bizarro.
movie. Bizarro.
Dang, that does sound like a fun movie, though.
Have you noticed? There's a strict thing here that is always in common, which is Brainiac movie cancellation.
You'll never get it.
You'll never get it. If you want to do Brainiac, cancel. Which is so cool because that was my favorite animated Superman movie. Superman Brainiac Attacks.
Oh, really?
Yep, that's a good movie.
I don't remember if I ever saw that one.
That's when they played up that Brainiac was the reason that the whole planet exploded.
Oh.
In the animated
They-
series.
yeah, they did that in the show.
Yep. So that would be cool for the movies. Okay, for the past, let's get into the plot. For the previous 5 years, Superman has mysteriously abandoned his adopted home of Earth while on a journey to outer space to investigate if Krypton is still there. In his absence, Lois Lane, played by Woodwoman, why the world doesn't need Superman, winning her a Pulitzer Prize. This is important later, by the way.
She also has a kid.
She has a good. And she is engaged to Richard White, the nephew
They're
of
not
Daily.
engaged, but
It says it. Engaged to
not in the
Richard
movie.
White.
No. Remember when Clark first shows
It's,
up and
it's like an implied engagement.
Okay. With whom she shares a young
asthmatic.
son, Jason. Notorious criminal mastermind Lex Luthor secured an early release from prison due to Superman not appearing at a prosecution witness during Luthor's 5th appeal trial.
Gotta love loopholes.
He doesn't understand Miranda rights.
Didn't this
Or
man
showing up
cause
for a
an
court date.
earthquake?
Yeah, you're right, man. But it does say loosely. And they never mentioned that.
But also,
So that
I
explains
don't know if
Superman
that's how court works. If you can't get one witness.
Well, if there wasn't any incriminating evidence, and Superman just swooped in and brought him in, dropped him in the middle of the prison yard,
This one won't be any more trouble, boys.
that's how he got out in the first movie.
Yeah.
Because he just dropped him in the prison yard. He's like,
Good point.
well, we can't really do anything with him.
He doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's Superman.
Superman never heard of due process. Venture
apparently
Brothers
not.
does this too.
I
It's hilarious.
really loved the fact where Luthor seduces the old
Yes.
heiress,
Right, I
and he
love
gets her
that.
millions, and then makes her sign
And
the
that's
paper.
that's how he gets rich.
Yeah, and like the whole family like hates him.
I know.
I love that so
I love
much.
how the movie was starting off really We'll get into it, but when they go back to that building and the dogs are there, but there's only one.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
left the
Two.
mansion, but there were 2 dogs there, and one of them's eating the other one.
Yeah, when they
Yeah.
come back,
Chewing on the bone.
Kitty, the girl, Lex Luthor's girl, I guess.
Miss Tessmacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
pretty
Miss
much Miss
Tessmacher.
Tessmacher. She walks. She's like, "Weren't there 2 of those?" And you just see the dog munching on a bone.
Yep. So Superman returns to Earth. He crash lands on the Kent farm just as he did as a child.
He collapses on his mom, and I just think it would be so funny. She's like, "Clark, my boy." Oh my God, the barge on fire!
Clark, my boy.
Here's another problem I have with the
Life
movie.
has many doors.
So upon
Clark,
returning
boy.
to Metropolis, he returns to work as Clark Kent. No one noticed that Superman and Clark Kent were gone for the same exact period of time. No one even
Tanner.
questions it.
Tanner, Superman's your favorite character, and this is the biggest knock on the character, no matter what movie or comic it is.
They do nothing to explain this.
So I don't understand what your
do
beef
nothing
is.
to explain this.
They don't have to, because
Yes,
he's
they do.
Clark and he's goofy.
Yeah, but at the same time, as
Later on in
Superman,
the movie, the guy, what's his name? Lois's boyfriend. She's like, he's like, hey, how tall is Clark?
yeah,
6'3", 6'4". He's about what? 215, 220. They like, nah.
yeah, God. Okay,
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
he is shocked.
I used to have a big problem with that, but I've found that I don't have as much of a problem as I used to.
I like.
The glasses thing.
Y'all remember when they were trying to log into her computer?
And it's Superman is her password?
Yeah, her password Superman, and also she has like an animated picture of her going when they get it wrong.
I didn't notice that.
Like, who does that?
I don't know.
A reporter who needs to keep things secure.
It was a
I
different
guess.
time.
He saves. Oh, this is a cool thing about the space. So then we get the awesome scene, which I think is the best scene in the whole movie, which is him catching the airplane,
Yeah, that was
and
cool.
also it's got the what's it called on top of it?
So,
Space shuttle.
before this, Lex Luthor goes to the Fortress of Solitude while Superman is gone.
He thinks I'm his son.
Yeah, that I didn't get that part. I was like, why would he think that? But I mean, him,
It's Marlon Brando too.
yeah, Kumar, Kitty, and his other goons, they show up, and basically,
Steal some crystals.
yeah, Marlon Brando's like, this is a library of knowledge from 28 galaxies, and not going for the cure for cancer or unlimitless power or anything like that. No, he's like,
I'm gonna grow some
start with the
land.
crystals. I'm gonna grow some land.
Also, the plot of another Superman.
That's the
movie.
exact plot. He just wants to use it for real estate.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor top villainy is the top to get a senator to outlaw the name
But
Superman.
But as ridiculous as a concept as that is, when you watch the movie, it was not as ridiculous as
Yeah.
it was in the original.
And it looked cool.
It did look cool,
I mean, he just caused an earthquake in the original. He didn't make an island of crystals.
wasn't he? Trying to
He
do
was
that?
He
gonna
tried to
sell.
shoot nukes.
Oh, he was trying to separate part of the United
Yes.
States,
Yes.
and then capitalize
Which
on the
that
real
would have
estate.
happened here too.
And then Nevada
But he was going to make a whole new
New
land of
continent.
crystals.
Yeah.
Who would want to live on crystal land?
Well,
The rich
Can you even grow food on crystal land?
import it.
Questions Lex Luthor did
When-
not think to ask.
when he made the thing, it was like basically bedrock.
Yeah.
That's what it ended up being, kind of.
Okay.
So
And it's not as drastic as, I'm going to nuke and make an earthquake.
it would be probably easier to build a city on something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean,
You've already
depends
got
on
the
how
foundation.
how hard the rock. Because I mean, a city needs sewer systems and
I'm sure it's
Stuff
not
like that.
impenetrable.
Um,
Surely.
one of the things I thought was cool was that one of the people in the space shuttle is actually Richard Branson, who is the CEO and founder of Virgin and Virgin Galactic, which they're doing the space travels and stuff. So I thought that was cool.
no, I thought the guy in the space shuttle, he looked a lot like Will Ferrell to me. I was like, is Will Ferrell in this movie?
I was thinking too. I was thinking how like I always go back to The Boys with the plane, and I immediately thought of that this whole time when he was trying to catch the plane and stuff, which was cool. I mean, he flies
Sit
around.
down or I will laser you.
Yeah, I like the fact that he like took the wings off of it and stuff, and then caught it.
I don't. Okay.
I don't
I have
understand
another
why
gripe.
you would do that.
I have another gripe with this scene. where he's trying to slow the descent of the plane when it's going down.
Yeah.
But he tries to stop it with the wing, one of the most delicate
That's what I was thinking.
parts of the plane.
I was like, wouldn't the plane go down a lot faster once you took the wings
You're
off?
trying to stop a plane by grabbing it by the wing and pulling it upward. I don't know what he thought would happen.
I don't either. But he also lands it in a stadium, and everyone cheers.
Cool.
Everyone cheers because Superman's back.
It's really funny because later
Perry
on,
White's like, how are they going to get the plane off the field?
They're having a big meeting about
you, White.
together.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Yeah.
Asking
He's
the
like,
real
sports.
questions.
He's like, sports team. How are they going to get it off the field?
Exactly.
Gosh. Okay. So Luthor sends his mole Kitty to distract Superman by cutting her brakes.
And Lois
He
gets
doesn't tell her that her brakes are cut. He just lets her do it.
Lois gets super catty when a 12-year-old takes a picture on his phone and you see Superman holding this girl, and she's like, he was too busy saving that hooker to investigate this museum robbery.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
also
that's
love
how
the part
Luthor
when he's
steals it.
holding the Mustang in the air.
Yeah.
Like that Action
It's
Comics
for
number
the
one
Action
cover.
Comics number 1. Yep.
That was awesome.
I thought it was really well done when she does that jump where the camera is inside the Mustang and she's going to ram into this bunch of people on these patio at tables and then just flies off.
like on Harry Potter.
Yes, I was just like, holy crap.
It looked just
They're
like
going to
that.
Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So after this, Lois is investigating, and she finds Luthor on his yacht, and she heads out there to investigate. Luthor plans on using the Kryptonian technology Superman used to create the Fortress of Solitude to create a new land, which is what we were talking about earlier, and
also stole
force the rest of
kryptonite.
the world to live there, placing the crystal in a shell of refined kryptonite. Luthor triggers the new land growth by launching it into the sea, which the crystal just kind of...
Apparently just add water.
Yeah. I
Like
didn't
sea
understand
monkeys.
Because I thought, too, I was like, Superman 1,
Kitty says that.
he wraps it around his neck and then throws him into water,
Mm-hmm.
and it does nothing.
Yes.
So,
Okay. That was kryptonite.
what was this? Was this not kryptonite?
No, this is a different kind of crystal.
Oh, okay, maybe that's why.
He encased it in kryptonite so Superman couldn't go to that land.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, is this skipping some stuff? Because there's also some scenes where Superman's stalking Lois Lane,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and that's really creepy.
Yeah, he does X-ray vision her house.
Mm-hmm. And he also listens.
Mm-hmm.
with
I
his hearing.
don't like the way the hearing is.
It
It's
sounded
really
like
weird.
a bad video conference call.
Yeah, earlier in the movie when he's Clark and he's just now getting back, he picks up a picture frame on Lois's desk, and it's of her, her boyfriend, and the kid. And he's just holding it, and when Jimmy Olsen fills him in, he just cracks. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sure she has more." Jimmy took him out to drink. Like he felt bad for Clark.
Yeah.
Jimmy's a pal.
Lois is discovered by one of Luthor's henchmen, and he attacks Lois, which causes Jason to use his powers, and he crushes the henchman with his piano.
Yep.
And that's where they're like, it's Superman's son.
I love how stupid the goons are when they're like, I don't know his name. Jimbo down there is like crushed by a piano.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened.
Nope.
And instantly Luthor's like, where's the boy?
Yep, where's the boy?
Where's the boy? Oh, we need to leave now. They hop on the helicopter.
It's like that scene in the first Dragon Ball movie where he's like, "How did you get Goku's kid?" "Well, first we beat up his wife." And the dude's like, "We gotta get out of here."
After this happens, Luthor and his thugs escape by helicopter as the earthquake from the growing landmass expands to Metropolis, where Superman works to contain the damage in the city. Richard reaches the yacht by way of his plane, and he reaches Lois and Jason from their locked room. The three become trapped when the yacht is split in two, which I thought was really cool. I like this scene a lot. Knocking Lois unconscious and sinking in the yacht, Superman rescues them and gets to safety. I really liked that scene. I thought it was
One
cool.
thing we passed over I just want to talk about is
Go ahead.
the compilation of Superman saving people all over the world. I just love how much better this was than in Superman 1, where it's just him stopping a bunch of random robbers in Metropolis. Like, he's going everywhere across the planet. And the scene where the bank robbers...
I was about to say, how did y'all like the Superman bullet to the eye scene?
Yeah.
I love that.
That was
scene.
awesome.
See, yeah, I like that scene, but every time that was when the movie was coming out. I don't know if y'all remember, but when the movie was coming out, that was the scene they always showed in the trailers.
Yeah.
That scene and the one with him in the plane, and those were the two best scenes in the entire movie.
You're right.
So I mean, I don't blame them for showing that, but
That's how it usually goes.
yeah, it's true.
I
still was like, okay, well, I've seen.
I want to point out the brass tacks on that pair of just regular security guards when they busted through that door and unloaded on the dude on the minigun, and the mini dude just still turns around. And I was
But
like, are
they
they gonna
shot every single bullet they had into his vest.
Yeah,
I'm
it should have went through. Yeah.
Oh.
There was also a reference that I caught. They're at the Daily Bugle, Daily Planet. I'm sorry, but they're going over.
Blasphemer.
Yes, I know. Strike me down.
Give me photos of
Spider-Man. Okay.
He's a menace.
He's a menace.
He's been gone for 5 years.
They're talking about stories, and one of them is like a clown massacre somewhere. It sounds like
birthday
a reference,
clown massacre.
Yeah, birthday clown massacre.
Yep.
Sounds like a
Reference
call
to,
out to the Joker.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I didn't catch that. When was that?
They said birthday clown massacre.
Yeah.
When was
Wasn't it Jimmy? Didn't Jimmy bring it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just when it was just they were going
He
through.
was like, "What
the
about
office.
the birthday?
What
clown
about the birthday
massacre?
clown massacre?
Okay, later on in the movie, the goon who gets crushed by the piano had a tattoo of a clown on the
Yeah, I
back
saw
of his
that
head,
too.
So
I was
proud of that.
like, I don't know if that was a reference to him as the Joker, or
I would say so.
Maybe.
I don't know if it was a reference to that guy as the killer
I guess
or
that
if
guy
it was a
one of the
reference
guys though
to Joker.
that was involved in that. I
Could
would
have been,
think.
yeah. I bet that's what it was, though.
I would
now
say
that I
so.
think about it. There's too many people. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of text. Okay.
Mr. Popular over here.
Superman pursues Luthor, who has made his way to the growing landmass. The kryptonite shell surrounding the crystal has caused the new rock formation to be infused with kryptonite.
Infused.
I didn't like the fact that there was this huge island of kryptonite, which as we all know, that makes Superman weak. Makes him a pussy. Gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And that happens in this movie. He does no ass kicking in this movie at all. He gets his ass kicked, more or less.
Mhm.
Anyways, he can pick this entire island up and throw it.
Later on, yeah.
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 It's got kryptonite in it.
Right.
How can he lift an island?
He was supercharged by the sun.
So here's
Kryptonite.
partly that.
Well, kryptonite damages him when it's just in front of him. He's holding an entire island of it.
Here's my thought. And it's probably, I mean, there is a loophole here. I will grant you that. When he fights him the first time, he kind of lands there and doesn't know what's going on. So he's standing there for a good minute or two,
Yeah.
just talking, and then Lex just punches him right in the face.
So in this continuity, you're
And then they
saying
beat him up.
there's a time
They
limit.
beat the crap out of him, and
There's a time limit of how.
when he gets a second
Exposure.
chance, he gets better. They get the kryptonite out of him that Luthor stabbed him
He
with.
stabbed him with.
And
And throws him
he
into the water.
instantly flies up to the sun, recharges because he's solar powered,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
comes
none
back.
of that solar-powered evil Superman BS.
I do think partly the sun recharge and him not being exposed to it as long.
Yeah, I
maybe
think
helps.
this maybe has. You have to be exposed longer for it to inhibit you
But
to regular joke and.
I will grant you, picking up a huge rock like that, and he did fly through the core of the earth to get it, and lifting it up to space is quite a bit.
In the picture
He
too,
did
the
get in a
kryptonite
coma, though.
the kryptonite is right next to him.
I know.
Just
It was
sticking
about
out
to
of the
stab him
rocks.
in
Yeah,
the
just
face.
It
sticking
did
right
cause
out of
him
the
to go
rocks.
into a coma and everything.
Eventually.
After it was gone.
And I'm pretty sure the one that got him into a coma was the shard that got stabbed into him.
Yep, and so that happened, and then Lex and everyone is trying to get off in a helicopter, and Kitty throws the rest of the crystals away, so they can't.
are you doing?
Yeah, they can't be used again.
I'm sorry. That's what she says.
Then they run away to the helicopter.
And they end up on a desert island with no fuel.
Yep.
I would trade 300,000 coconuts for just a quart of gas.
I loved that. I loved them being stuck on that island. I thought that was hilarious.
That was funny.
Complications from this kryptonite exposure causes Superman to fall into a coma. While doctors are able to remove more fragments from his body, they are unable to revive him. Lois visits him in the hospital and whispers into his ear while glancing at Jason. Soon after, hospital staff discover his room's empty. No longer feeling alone in the universe, Superman visits his newly revealed son in the boys' room.
This is creepy as hell.
Repeats to Jason the words of his own father as he sleeps. Lois starts writing another article called Why the World Needs Superman. Keep in mind here, she won a
Pulitzer
for the one that says the opposite. So
she's going to win another
She's covering
one.
both bases.
There you go.
Covering both bases.
2
here.
awards.
God, terrible. Superman reassures her that he is now back to stay and flies off into space, where he gazes down in the world, just like Superman and the rest of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Superman Returns. When I shorten it down with like a summary, it doesn't sound like it's so long.
We cut off a bunch
really
in the middle.
doesn't.
Like, there was more drama, I guess, with...
The kid and
Yeah.
Yeah.
him going back and forth.
That I thought kept me engaged throughout
I
the
guess.
movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really felt bored with it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I see your point where there's not a lot of, like, he doesn't punch anyone.
He doesn't
but
punch-
he doesn't
he
have
doesn't fight
anyone to
anyone.
punch.
He doesn't fight anyone.
There are no Goomba stomps in this
no
movie.
Goomba stomps.
Well, you don't have Lex Bot either to fight.
That would be
so It would.
I
but
wish they would
like
do that.
I want to
some
see
point.
Kevin Spacey in a lime green and pink, Wanda and Cosmo costume.
They have yet to
suit.
do that big Lex Luthor robot suit, and I really want that at some point.
The closest we're gonna get is Megamind.
Like, I just want Iron Man. I want Iron Man. Iron Man Lex
different.
Luthor.
What if we got what's his face from BVS in the Lex Bot suit?
Oh God,
Jolly
Jesse
Rancher.
Johnny Rancher.
Jesse Eisenberg.
The bells, ding 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 ding. ding.
Granny Sweet Tea.
Fucking terrible.
Granny Sweetie.
He's so terrible.
I love the honest trailer for it. They go by and show his entire plan with everything, and he's going, okay, there's this pee in a jar.
Oh man.
So
I don't have that kind of power. I'm just a senator.
now that we've got multiple Supermen, multiple villains, and the movie to rank as a whole, let's start with ranking Superman. Do y'all think? What is this guy's name again?
Brandon Routh.
Brandon Routh or Christopher Reeve? Who do you think's the better Superman?
They are so similar.
Yeah.
They're almost the same.
You can't distinguish. They both hold the
I'd give it to
pedestal.
Christopher Reeve just because.
Because he's the original.
Yeah,
I
one's
like
based on the
both.
other.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Christopher Reeve.
I agree, but I still think that Brandon Routh did a fantastic
Yeah.
job.
Oh, I think he did an excellent job. I wish he was still Superman.
Yeah, me too.
Where is Brandon Routh today?
The DC shows.
He's the
CW.
Atom,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and he was also Superman.
He
again.
was a version of Superman, yeah.
It's
like-
this Superman. It's the Superman Returns Superman.
Technically. But he's really like
Technically.
Kingdom Come Superman, the old
He's
one.
both combined,
Yeah.
and they couldn't get any of the rest of this cast in for the show, so they just killed them all off
Nice.
in Crisis. So that's nice. As for the villains, so as you know, we have.
Kevin Spacey takes it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He just does.
Yeah, he does. But okay, so we've got Lex Luthor, but it's the what's his name?
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Then we've got Zod, General Zod, and
That did not
his
look like a
two
general.
people.
No.
And
Richard
then we've
Pryor.
got Richard Pryor
No,
and the robot,
Rich, the rich
robot people.
the rich ski lodge dude.
Yeah.
Remember he had the ski slope on top
Remember when
of his-
Richard went off the ski slope?
And then we have Nuclear Man,
Oh, nuclear
man, but he's
God,
solar powered.
Nuclear
I
Man.
hated that so much because I know that Superman is solar powered, and his powers are solar based. I was like, you're just making him stronger.
Exactly.
So number one is obviously going to be
It's Kevin
Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
He may be a kitty diddler, but man, can he act.
Spacey Lex. Kevin Spacey Lex.
I give
Number...
Gene Hackman the 2.
Yeah,
It was goofy,
yeah,
but
he's good.
it was entertaining.
I'm the world's greatest criminal mastermind.
Gene Hackman.
Whips off that.
Although I do have a lot of gripes with his take on Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
but
I think number 3 is Zod.
fair enough.
And then I guess robot
Rich
people.
dude.
And then
Robot
Nuclear
people.
Man at
I'm
the
gonna put
very
Cybermen.
end.
The Cyberman.
The Cybermen.
Cybermen.
You'll have
And
identified
number
as
5
Cybermen.
would have to be Nuclear Man.
Really?
Wow.
And the
shocked.
girl,
God, I hate him.
Nuclear Man and the girl who disappears forever.
What about would Superman, but when he was all like not good, count as a villain? Because
I love that.
Okay.
I love
the abuse of alcoholic
If
Superman.
that's if we're saying that he's it, Cyberman and
Was
Evil
that in
Soups.
4?
No, that was 3.
That was 3?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
never
think
mind.
I think
I do love 3 a
Cyberman,
lot.
Cyberman and Evil Soups, I think should go above Zod.
Yeah.
Fair.
Zod and the Merrymen.
I was not overly thrilled with Zod.
I wasn't either.
Wasn't.
He just was too scrawny.
He was very scrawny.
The girl he had though was
Zod
hot.
and the Merrymen.
The Merry Man. Oh, Merry Man!
I just really like that muscled up guy in that movie. The really, really ugly
The
guy.
one who would just grunt.
Meathead.
Yeah, the meathead. Ah, he was my favorite.
He was the one who Goomba stomped.
He was
Superman.
my favorite.
That
All right,
was
boys.
hilarious.
Let's figure out where we want to put this movie. So our original ranking, I believe, was Superman 3
Why don't you have a note for this?
because Superman 3,
I mean, we remember it kind of.
Okay.
3, then
Super.
I think 2, wasn't it?
I feel like we had 1 first.
No.
Yeah.
I would say 2 above 1.
Superman, and then Quest for
4.
Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know where I put this one.
Okay, so is this better than Quest for Peace? Raise your hand.
Yes.
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 Is this better than Superman?
Yes.
Yes. Is this better than Superman 2?
Yes.
I disagree. But y'all still got the majority. So, is this better than Superman 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's better than Superman 3 too. So, new ranking. Superman Returns
Returns.
is
To the
number
top.
1. Superman Returns is number 1. And then we have Superman 3, Superman 2, Superman, and Superman A Quest for Peace.
A quest for peace.
Yes, number 4 for peace. I still think Superman 2 is a better movie than Superman Returns.
I'm still thinking of all the panic attacks Superman fans are having watching this, where we put Superman 3 at number 2.
I hate you for that. I hate you for that. I legit.
Richard Pryor is just so freaking amazing.
I think my ranking right now would be Superman 2, Superman Returns, Superman 3, and then Quest for Peace.
And that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I just had such a blast with 3. I could not put it that low. I'm sorry.
I hate you
You
guys.
thought I was drunk.
I was literally rolling, laughing at this movie. It was so fun.
Anyways, that is our ranking of the Superman movies. We have one more left, which is Superman Man of Steel. I don't think we have any plans of doing Justice.
Cry.
I'm not ready for that. I don't think either of us are ready for Batman versus Superman again.
I
or
am.
Are we doing that?
Justice League.
thought
I don't
weren't
think we
doing
will.
that.
I don't think we will.
Yeah,
I think
you
we'll
said we
those
were
out.
ending at Man of Steel.
We'll end at Man of Steel.
I'm fine with
So
that.
I'm
I'm
fine with
not.
that
I
too.
would like to do
So
it.
that will be the Superman franchise reviewed. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
Tell us how stupid we are for liking Superman 3
Yeah,
so
tell
much.
them how idiotic they are.
I want that comment.
It's not.
You're idiots.
It's not even a Superman movie.
I
It's a
want to be
Richard Pryor
told that.
movie. It's a Richard Pryor movie, and it's hilarious.
It's gold.
Comment below, Riley, Wyatt, dumbass.
Tanner, a stick in the mud.
Yes. Fair enough. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Quest for Peace.